Record. Okay, recording is in progress. Thank you, Kim. So anyway, we have decided we are opening up the pool. We're not going to be at max capacity, but we are going to be at 300 people, and that can come at a time.
What is max capacity, Tracy?
480.
Okay.
480. We were looking at our numbers from 2019 and 2018 to see what our max numbers were. It's kind of hard to determine because, you know, we have like per hour how many people come in, but that doesn't determine how many are actually there because some people might still be there from the hour before that. So it's kind of a good guessing game, but we still had some good numbers to show that we really hadn't even quite gotten to 300 on some days. So we thought that was a good number and that it was still, sorry, let me let Jeff Jenks in here. You know, it allows for a good number for on the pool deck and that sort of thing, and to monitor the water. And we have a staffing shortage of guards anyway, so we couldn't open to full capacity at the 480 if we wanted to. So as of now, we do still need staffing. That's another thing I'm going to talk about. So we're going to do that. Masks are going to be required for entering the pool and in the locker rooms, as that's still one of the protocols for that. And we are just going to begin with these when we open the pool on Saturday. To be honest, we know there are some residents who are not going to be happy with this change because they bought pool passes because we were wearing masks on the deck. And now that it's not required, however, we had at least 200 emails today of people wanting to buy pool passes because the mandates were lifted. So we're finding that our community is really gung-ho for this to happen.
Are we refunding money then for those people that bought pool passes?
Absolutely, Jessica. And we sent that in the email that, I don't know if you saw the email, we said if we did need to do a refund, we're happy to do that. And actually what some people are doing is they bought like a 6 punch card, the 6 pass punch card are now getting family. So they're actually buying up, which is nice too, is that they're actually buying for the entire family as opposed to just getting something for the kids, so to speak. So we found that happening a lot today. And because we were on a time crunch, we kind of had to make these decisions real quick. Bridget Brown, sorry, she's Bridget Levine, who oversees the pool, has done an outstanding job getting this together, and the whole department coming together to figure out the protocol, what makes the most sense, and that sort of thing. So today, some really positive feedback. So we're really happy about that. So just wanted to kind of update you with that. The protocol we did come up with, we did pass by the city manager, so it did get city approval prior to coming out to the residents. What we're doing with camps is
I have another question, Tracy,
sure,
about the
Jessica,
pool.
Sure.
So how are you, since you're not going to be open at full capacity, and it sounds like you don't often reach, you know, full capacity, or might not often reach the 300, how are you going to encourage residents to know, or how are residents going to know if the pool is at capacity? Like, before I put my kids in their bathing suits, do I call the pool and say, are you close to capacity?
Bridget is setting up kind of like we had in 2019 and 2018. It's probably going to be through the app called Remind. And we're going to update people that way. All people have to do is get the Remind app either on their phone. I use it a lot for team council stuff and things like that. And we'll shoot out messages that says pool is at capacity. We've never sent out that message before. It's usually pool closed for contamination, you know, for the next hour while we shock it. But, you know, like if pool gets closed for weather or things like that, that will come out through that Remind. So Bridget is putting that together now because we have to have multiple reminds because they only take 100 people, I think, at a time. So we're going to give that to that link to all the people who have memberships. So we'll be able to be in touch that way.
Will that link also be on the city website, or will it be in the Hometown Herald or some
You know,
other
we
place
could
where people?
probably, yeah, probably not. The Hometown Herald, the next one's not going to be out until the end of the summer, but we could probably put it on like our homepage where we do registrations for the rec center, also on the city one. That's a good idea.
Tracy, if people just buy the punch cards, can they access that app as well?
Yes, they will. Okay. Yep. Anybody who buys any form of membership will have access to that app.
You also don't need to download the app. If you text 81010 and like an @ which whatever like the @ is, you don't need an app for it, and it will just come up in your text flow.
Alexa, this is why you get paid the big bucks, my dear. Thank you for that. That's good information.
Yeah, you don't need the Remind app. You'll just get a text that says like Remind coming from Huntington Woods Pool Department, and it will briefly give you the message underneath.
Perfect.
That's good to know as well, because I know some people are apprehensive about downloading apps and stuff like that. So
True.
If there's an easy way to do this.
True, yeah. So yeah, so she's working on getting that all put together, and we'll get that information out to everyone. And then any other questions in regards to the pool about that?
And then is this going to be something just sort of is ongoing, revisited and reevaluated over the course of the summer as protocols change and things open and continue to expand?
The next protocol change we heard coming up is for July 1st. And we're just imagining it's going to be opening up even more unless something crazy happens. So we did put in all our information, Frank, that, you know, we'll continue to monitor what our, you know, what the CDC, the NBHHS and cities say about everything, and we'll update the public too. So we plan on doing a lot of emailing and updating the community as necessary for this.
One question I have, and not to take things too far sideways on this topic, but just sort of how is the changing in the masking protocols and stuff going to affect other activities besides the pool?
That's a good question. That's why I was going to move on to the other activities we're doing, unless anybody has another question about the pool. Okay, in regards to fruit camps, we are actually going to keep things status quo as they are right now. For a number of reasons. We have the parent meeting is next Tuesday. We have everything already in set. We also are very short staffed. We have just the right amount of staff, although we could use a couple more if anybody knows of anybody. So for those reasons, and the fact that they might have to come in the building during inclement weather or anything like that, we are not going to increase our numbers for camp. But again, actually everybody who put in for camp did get something. So we're actually really proud of that too. That was a lot of work, but we were able to do that.
Is that a fairly rigid, like that's the decision, that's how we're proceeding through the season? And
for camps, yep, for camps, we're going to proceed as we have already set out for the summer. Yes, Miss Alexa.
I know there was mention of that fruit camp wasn't going to be swimming like at the pool, and they were going to try to keep all activities to be outside. Is that still going to be what
it mostly outside, because we still have to be at 50% capacity inside the building and masked inside the building. So most everything is going to be outside. We were only doing Fridays to have Friday be a day only for camp and have it only be camp at the pool for that hour and a half, but it looks like we are going to expand that as well. Jenny and Bridget are in the process of working that out. It's just, again, a matter of making sure we have the staffing and the timing works right, and, you know, all that good stuff. Because the idea is that we want to try to leave as much time for the public as we can, you know, since we are limiting, even though we're really not going to have an issue with letting people come into the pool. So thanks, Alexa, for that question. In regards to like 4th of July things, the parade is on. We are not doing fireworks for sure. The city came back just last week and said that we are not going to do the fireworks. I don't see that changing with the new mask protocols, but that would come from the city. And as of now, that's what was decided, with no fireworks, but we are having a parade. We are going to do our family night, the concert, all sorts of fun things.
Are you still doing the new parade route?
I believe so. I think that is going to stick for this year. Yeah. And so what we're looking to do is we're hoping people are just going to be cognizant of those around them. Because I know, like, for instance, we're still going to have people at the pool with masks on the pool deck. And so we're just letting people know, you know, you have to, you know, be respectful of that too. We're hoping the same for our outdoor events, but they are now open and with no mask, whether you are vaccinated or not. So we're just following along with those protocols.
Is the parade still going to throw candy?
Yeah, candy's going to be thrown.
Okay.
You'll get your candy.
Oh my God.
You'll get your candy, yes.
So it's going to cost me $600 again?
Yeah.
That's just that. Yeah, it's campaign expense.
Yeah.
Campaign expense. Yeah. I make $1 a year.
I have a question. So the concert in the park is going to be on the actual July 4th after the party. I mean, after the parade. The games and races, I heard that was going to be on a different night.
Yeah, we have the schedule is out in the Hometown Herald.
Okay, I haven't been home. I'm in Tennessee with my mother.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I apologize.
Okay. No, don't apologize. Yeah.
So I can look at that as long as I just was trying to figure it out. So
yeah, there are kind of some new dates for things. The parade and the concert is that same night, Boogie Dynamite. We are doing games and races, but that's going to be on Saturday the 3rd. We kind of did it to spread it out a little bit in hopes that, you know, we won't get thousands of people here or anything, but we think we have a good handle on everything that we have set up for the 4th of July. So
one of the things we had talked about at the last meeting was finding out the vaccination rate for the city.
Yes.
And how that might impact people's interests in participating in things. Do we have that information? Actually,
I have been in touch with Charlie Cavell, who's our county commissioner now, and his staff. And they're actually, and I have, it was part of my department report, but I'm going to share a screen. Now, this is what they're in the process of putting together, but this is Washtenaw County's map as to, they don't have the actual numbers of how many Huntington Woods residents are vaccinated, but they're compiling information as it's coming in. So let me see if I can actually.
While you're doing that, can you let Frank back in?
Oh, yes.
His Wi-Fi dropped.
Okay.
I'll have to give him my password.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my Wi-Fi. Thank you.
All right, letting Frank back in. Okay. Now let me see, I have never had good luck at sharing a screen, so now that's not the right one.
You were sharing a screen.
A screen, yeah, and that might be, let me see here.
Tracy, when you click share screen, there should be an up arrow and it should give you multiple options of the different screens you have.
Oh girl, okay. One participant can share at a time, multiple advanced sharing options.
No, click on the green button and different like squares should come up and it will tell you what screen to share.
It has the screen, I hit screen, whiteboard, iPhone.
It should come up if you're using like a browser, it should say like the Chrome screen.
It does not.
Or you can just share your desktop.
That's what I was trying to do. Let me.
If you share that again, you just have to minimize whatever's going on.
Okay, minimize this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, you guys can see this okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what actually Oakland County is in the process of doing. And they're working on that right now. I don't know when it's going to be ready, but I explained what we were looking at it for. So they said they'd get it to me as soon as we can, but I think it would be nice to have that number to know, like if people ask, you know, that do come to the pool, well, how many are vaccinated? Because unfortunately we can't ask, but you can see the numbers that are kind of listed in there. So they're looking at doing this for Oakland County too. They're just in the process of of putting that all together. Claire's,
All right, it looks like Claire has it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I did ask. That was my response.
That's HIPAA. That's HIPAA.
Oh yeah, yeah. HIPAA
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't. That's the law.
Excuse me, that's not HIPAA. HIPAA is
true.
only for medical
personnel.
Okay, well, the law.
Well,
law
and you know
is,
what?
well, I teach, and I was told that it's a privacy matter.
We were told that same thing.
It's a human being.
And you're okay. I'm just telling you that our HR department. You know, you can. Can I just finish? Our HR department at Cranbrook said we did not have to disclose it because they do not have the right to ask us if we want to volunteer because it's a privacy matter. It's not their, they cannot ask us directly if we've had the vaccine. If we want to openly and voluntarily share it, we can. So I'm not going to argue about HIPAA. That was what I was told by my HR department.
It's probably a rule of your HR department.
Well, we were told also that not to ask, and you know, we have such a young staff, like let's say at the pool. I just don't feel it's going to be tough for them anyway this summer to have them ask if you're vaccinated or not. Just is I think just too much, and you know, we'll have to see. Things could change up here again. I'm not really sure, but yeah, we were told that not to ask people if they are vaccinated or not. So that's what we're going with.
All right.
I forgot where we were. Oh, you had asked about the, anyway, hopefully Charlie and his group will get me that information and I'll get it out to everybody as soon as I get it. But it might even help, even if we don't get it for another couple of weeks, you know, mid-season at the pool, we can share that information with the residents as well. We can probably post it on our city website and that sort of thing.
All right. Looks like the next item on the agenda is priorities for the board.
Okay, so now I'm going to do the screen share again. This comes from us talking at our last Parks and Rec meeting to kind of come up with some things. I know it's kind of been a, you know, not a whole lot going on here, but things are starting to pick up. So there is going to be more coming up for the board to be involved with. So let me now share. Watch my magic, people. I'm going to make it work this time. Oh, wait. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to minimize this one. And hold on. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. These are just, we have been talking about some things, you know, for things, you know, coming up or what have you. And one of the things that I know Jessica brought this up was park use, you know, rules and regulations. We have had a lot of new groups coming forward wanting to use the park, not necessarily going through the process correctly. So right now, the park use rules and regulations are with the City Commission. They are checking into the legality of what we have stated in our rules and regulations. And from there, they want it to come back to you guys for a look-see to see what you guys think about it and that sort of thing. If you guys want, I'm happy to send you what our rules and regulations are right now. If you want to look at them, sure. Okay.
I think that could be particularly useful given that, you know, the next meeting is our last meeting until September, so.
Actually, this one might be, I have on my list that only needed, if we need the June meeting, do you guys, that was on my agenda for today too, if we needed to meet in June.
We'll see if park rules and regulations happens with any great changes in state rules.
Okay. And then we can, hopefully they would have some information about the rules and regulations we can look at. So
I don't know, since we have Jeff on the meeting, I would just like to encourage that the park use rules and regulations have something about how to handle community groups that break the rules, that don't follow those rules and regulations, so that that's part of whatever is developed by the city.
Well, and I think the new thing is a number of religious groups would like to hold meetings or services there. and they're trying to figure out what's a number, how does it relate to groups. If there are 25 Huntington Woods residents in that group, can they use it? We used to say, you know, the majority of members must come from Huntington Woods and a whole bunch of other things. Part of that's been simplified, but the minute you open the door, then everybody has a right to complain. So they need to really, and it really should come from Parks and Rec, how you want to use the parks. And one of my concerns is we don't take advantage of services for seniors during the periods when kids from K to through high school are in school. So we don't have one program that runs, except if you're a preschooler. We don't have a program that runs from the morning till 3. We don't have it for our parks. There's ways that we could get more use from the tiny parks that we have, I think.
Yeah, please send us where we are today.
Okay, I will send that to you guys.
Thank you.
And I know that, and Jessica, I want to say I appreciate you bringing to our attention. She actually was the one to let us know that a few groups were meeting that we had no idea about. And, you know, it's hard for us because, you know, we are, you know, booking things like birthday parties and things in the parks, and we don't want to have anything overlap, and we want to make sure they are following the procedures properly and that sort of thing. So definitely your guys' input is very important in this. So I will get that out to you, and then I'll let you know what the city comes up with from their end too. So then any other questions about that? We're good. The Reynolds Park opening, it still hasn't been determined the final location, although everything seems to be going back towards the plan that was in place already for that. But I was thinking that if the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, once, you know, this is all done, if we wanted to do some type of a like ribbon cutting grand opening type of thing, you know, and bring somebody on, you know, to the park to show how to use the equipment. Maybe that's something that as a board we could put together. I don't know if that's of interest to you guys.
When, what's the date on this?
Oh, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure. We're still waiting on the final say.
Are we thinking that it'll be this summer sometime, or?
That's the plan. That is my absolute hope. So I'm thinking probably August, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think that would be a beneficial thing to do after like all of this controversy that has happened with this. I think that it would be like something to symbolize that like we still have care and listen and like to show what it is.
I like that, Alexa. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's smart.
You know, and just kind of, you know, kind of bring the community together and showcase it in a you know, positive way. We could bring in snacks and whatever, and, you know, and do some ribbon cutting and showing people how to use the equipment. There's a whole lot of ideas we could put together, but that might be something, you know, and actually maybe I'll know more too in June. So maybe we should actually have that meeting, and that we can, if we need to get something together for that, we can. Still
to
waiting.
that end of having someone there who could demonstrate some stuff, it might be nice to have it be part of a day with multiple sessions so that people could and still distancing to some extent.
Yep.
Yep.
And maybe like the board can, you know, everybody can take turns being there at a certain time on a certain day, or however that works out. So we have, you know, Parks and Rec Advisory Board people there at all the times. That's a good idea. I just wrote it down. Okay. And then other things, I think I mentioned to you guys at the last meeting that Amy put in for a grant to get some art done at Val Jones Park. And I know we started talking about some of the possibilities. So chances are that wouldn't happen until the fall as well. So again, maybe something the board can get on board with, you know, figuring out, you know, what we want there and that sort of thing if we do get this grant. And if we don't, maybe other ways to, you know, bring in art. We can all do a little research or something and bring in some art at the skate park there. I think that would be kind of interesting. And
so
then
you have enough artists in Huntington Woods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we were even thinking too, Susie, at the last meeting, some talk was like even some of the teens that are artists that, you know, might be interested in something like this. It might be nice to incorporate them as well. So
yeah, I've talked to the skaters up there. They really would like if they were involved in it.
I think they should be, because they're the ones that were, you know, getting on board to take pride in this park and take care of it, and, you know, have the respect like we're seeing from them. It's just a nice piece to share with them. So I think it'd be really good. I agree. And then there's two other things that probably will be coming up fairly soon that Mary had left information about. I just haven't had a lot of time to look into it, but the track is in terrible shape behind us here on Burton. So there's that, and also Burton field upgrades, the ball diamond and the actual field itself with hopefully some irrigation and all that. And there's lots of notes that she left me. So maybe that coming up, most likely probably when we start meeting again in the fall, we will look at those that the board can be involved in.
I saw some people riding bikes on the track, and I know that leads to the disrepair. Okay. Is there a way to put up some improved signage maybe?
We probably could. The problem is the signs get so trashed there because there are people like our hand sanitizers are just already all broken that we've had out there for.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something about that. The kids at I ump T-ball, and a lot of the kids like use that as like something to like hit, or they like open the top of the hand sanitizer and it always falls. And I didn't know if there was a way that like the top didn't come off so that the sanitizer like doesn't get everywhere, or like it's not accessible, but it makes a lot of a mess.
It makes a terrible mess, and it's hilarious. Steve will walk in my office in the morning and hold up two of them, and they're full of dirt and everything, because we have to have them in the dugouts, you know, for the players and everything, and it's just they're abusing it. I just worry that any signage there too seems to get abused and that sort of thing. But you know, it could be something that we put in an e-blast, maybe that goes out to the community in hopes that, you know, parents can spread the word to their kids that it's just for walking and running. And even that alone is pretty tricky right now on that track. So, yeah. And then the Burton field upgrades. Sox might be interested. And actually, I think the men's club was interested in some of these projects as well. So we can check with them too and see what comes of those things.
You're missing one.
Which one?
The tennis courts.
Actually, that's in my my department update.
Okay, because I think we need to have like a complete list of what we're working on right now and priorities, and advertise it as well. Because people don't know how much is going on. So I think, you know, when I talk to people, it's like, why don't you fix the tennis courts? I'm like, do you know everything else that's going on? And they're like, no. And I said, well, let me tell you a little bit about it. So I think that's one of the reasons I was asking about our list of priorities and things that we're working on. If we've got a list and saying, yeah, we're currently working on these 3 things, the next 3 are these 3. So just
I'll list them all then. I didn't do it with this particular thing, but I can list them all. I have them in my department update. So, but I'm happy to put them all in one document and get that out to you.
Little positive PR could not.
I like it.
Not hurt.
Like
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, Kim. Yeah. To that end, I know that with the agenda item that we added that Jessica asked, I know it relates kind of specifically to the park over at Burton, more so than just to generalize park use and rules. Jess, can you expound a little bit on that? I know the proximity of it to the school is kind of linked to that inextricably. So if you could explain that a little more fully, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I am one of, I think, many really angry parents who felt like their children were being solicited at 3 p.m. dismissal by an outside community organization that had set up an event on Burton Field to start at 3 p.m. We've been told as residents that we cannot use Burton Field during school hours. We cannot be on that school, that's sort of considered, you know, part of the school property. We can't use it. And yet an outside organization, one not affiliated with the city or with the school, set up prior to 3 p.m. right on Burton Field, and really felt like my kid was being targeted. I, as a parent, was put in an awful situation to have to drag my neurodiverse child, you know, home because he couldn't go to the event. And I would really like to advocate that we make a decision as an advisory board to recommend that events outside of school-sponsored, PTA-sponsored, city-sponsored events not be allowed to even set up on Burton Field until 3:30 p.m. so as not to interfere with the school dismissal.
Sounds reasonable.
Is there any language, like I know you're going to be sending us the current you know, rules and regs and stuff, but is there any language to that currently, or anything like that currently?
To be honest, I don't know. This is actually was a program that did not come through Parks and Rec, so we didn't have information on what they were doing. Jessica was the one that brought it to our attention, how it was set up, and we knew nothing about it. So unfortunately, you know, things were going on that we didn't know about, because we never would have approved anything until school was out. And I know, Jessica, I believe Colette has made notes from what you brought to our attention already, that nothing can be done at Burton Park during school hours or at dismissal time. So anyway, that
but I think like I would really like that to be written in like explicitly as part of those park use rules and regulations.
Okay.
And I would really like it to be again, something outlined about what happens to community groups that don't follow those park use rules and regulations, and how the city, I mean, it'd be then great to hear from the city commission how public safety and the city will handle people who don't follow those park use rules and regulations. We've spent a lot of time getting angry about young adults at the skate park. And I feel like this is a more critical issue about how, like, the hypocrisy of the use of that park and the way in which minors are being solicited for events.
Do you think it would be reasonable? I know that Tracy said she's going to send a copy of those current rules. Would it be reasonable for us to review them between now and the next meeting, and then maybe have this as an agenda item for the next meeting for inclusion in those rules if there's not currently anything to that effect, or at least to clarify the verbiage if there is? Does that seem like a reasonable path?
I think so.
What do you think, Jessica?
I think that's great.
And also I think that yeah, I think to that end, I also think that there should be something in those rules and regs that deal with offenses if the people don't follow the rules and if people don't go through the proper channels and so forth, as you alluded to previously. So I think it'd be really great if we could look at those rules as they currently exist, and then perhaps, you know, talk about this in the next meeting if you're agreeable to that.
We can make that happen. And actually, what I want to do too is actually, I will. I'll email Amy Sullivan and Bob Paul just some of your thoughts right now. So as they're looking at it as well, they'll know kind of what you guys are looking at also. So maybe when we come together in June, we'll have a better idea.
It would seem to be very, very critical that Jessica's suggestions and others go out fairly quickly. Right. So as they rewrite and rework the rules, they're not doing them from their own point of view, but they're doing them from the point of view of Parks and Rec.
Sounds good, Jeff.
So there's 2 questions in the chat. I don't know if you saw them. They're good questions. Are we talking specifically about that park or all parks?
All of them.
And then
it'll have to be probably all of them, because we have had others, outside groups that we didn't know about using, like for instance, Scotia Park, and other things too that we weren't made aware of also. And they happened to be on the very same weekend. So it caused a little turmoil, you know, because we like to also make sure that somebody, you know, that Monday morning is by to pick up any garbage or any, you know, anything that's left at the park from these groups. So we do need to know about them so we can make sure we're maintaining, you know, and that the area is set up for them and ready to go. Also, if it's deemed, you know, they can meet there and have, you know, programs. We don't want it to not be ready to go for anybody.
And I was, you know, my issue, sorry, Sheila, I was just going to say that my issue specifically was around like the time around dismissal at Burton Field.
Right.
So like, I'm happy to talk, like I'm excited for us as a board to talk about, you know, overall rules and regulations for all the parks, but like the dismissal was really specific to the Burton Field.
It was crazy. And we heard from other people too about it, Jessica, and kind of put us in a predicament because we didn't know about it and what they were doing. So it really became a little bit problematic there. So, but I appreciate you bringing your concerns up for sure.
And Burton is so unique in that regard with time of day. So
right, so unique.
That's a good way to
put it. Yeah.
Who was the group?
There were 2 groups. It's I don't know the name.
It was the Chabad of Huntington Woods was on Burton Field.
Okay, thank you.
Sheila has a question, and then I have the follow-up question that we didn't answer. So go ahead, Sheila.
Okay. Well, one of my things is if we're going to rewrite the rules and we're going to bring in that we have to, what are going to be the, when someone disregards those rules, and we want to make sure that there are consequences, aren't we going to need to notify the police department? If we're going to have them help us with this, shouldn't we be notifying them who should be on the fields on the weekend, what groups? So when they drive by, if there's a group out on the field and they don't have any record of it, they can act immediately. Right. Is that difficult to do? Because in the past, when I've served on the rec board, we didn't have that kind of communication with the police department. Okay. It was just kind of, you know, if somebody saw it, but most of the times these groups, if no one monitors them, they go use the fields.
Right.
So, and the police don't do anything because they don't know who's supposed to be on the fields and who aren't.
Correct.
So it's something to discuss about that.
That's a good thought, Sheila, because maybe like as, like, because they do have to fill out forms and things like that, all their contact information, and get approved first. And then maybe at that point, we can contact public safety to say, on this weekend, we have 2 groups meeting, one on Burton and one on Scotia or something. That'd be easy enough to do. It's just a matter of, you know, sending an email maybe with their application so they know the contact person and that. So if they do show up at the park for, let's say, a disturbance or something, they know who to ask for. We can easily incorporate that in. Yeah.
That sounds great, because then, you know, then they have all the information, and it's still a fairly passive enforcement situation, because it's only going to come to rise if there's someone in violation of that, or someone reports it. And so I don't think it necessarily adds any burden to their enforcing, you know, role, but it does give them more information to make choices and to understand what they're getting into and reacting to.
But it also will allow them, if they're driving by and over on that any park, and there's a group of people out there doing an activity and they know that there's not supposed to be there, they can stop and investigate. You know, and because people aren't supposed to use our parks from outside. And I think with the COVID, there's going to be a lot more, even, and especially now, I mean, things are coming to a close. They're starting to say you don't have to wear masks, but at the same time, people are starving to get out with groups.
Yes.
And our parks are just a great place to go. So it's just would help our public safety to be aware of what's going on in our city.
Even the tiny parks can do a yoga class. So yeah.
Right.
All right, department updates. I think we can move on to at this point.
Kim, did that other question get answered?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim.
No, it was Claire's question about that park particularly, does it belong to the school or the rec center? And I think it's kind of shared, but I think that was.
It belongs to the school, but we maintain it. So they kind of let us make the call on things that are going on. Like we take care of any of the rentals that happen at Burton in the park and on the field. So it is owned by the school, but they let us program on it whenever we need. So it's kind of a nice shared thing.
So that way they don't, basically, unless it's an activity that they're using or sponsoring for, they don't really get involved with it unless it escalates to be something incredibly problematic, and right. Then it's a conversation. Okay. I didn't know how that worked. That's good to know.
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Are we good to our department update?
Yeah, just speaking of Burton Field, we now have an Eagle Scout. He was already set up, so you guys might know about this already, a while ago, and then COVID hit, but he's going to be building a Gaga Ball Pit on Burton Field. If you're standing at the rec center, sorry, I'm terrible at directions, looking west, it's going to be in that far corner. So kind of the one kitty corner to the school. So it's still leaving the main part of the field open for soccer practices and t-ball. Nothing will be in the way. So what's nice is he's going to build this Gaga Ball Pit. If you guys don't know what that is, check it out on Google. But
how do you spell that?
G-A-G-A, just like Lady Gaga. Okay. Yep, the Gaga Ball Pit. And it's a game kind of like dodgeball and other things, but many levels. People can play this from little kids all the way up to seniors. It's a lot of fun. Teen Council, Alexa, get ready. We're going to be playing some Gaga in the fall. But what's great is that the school is on board with this too, because they're going to use it for their gym classes and recess and what have you. So it's going to be kind of a multi-use between the rec center and the school. So he is still going to continue with his Eagle Scout project. So that's going to be happening this summer. So we're very excited about that. And then, like I mentioned real quickly, we are looking for camp lifeguards and parks staff. I just offered parks position to 2 people and they both turned them down. So we officially only have Steve, and we did just hire a full-time park assistant, Brian Voigt. Some of you may know of him or his family. He grew up in Huntington Woods, headed out to California, has recently relocated here in Huntington Woods, and now he's working for us full-time as the parks assistant. So we're thrilled about it. He used to be one of our pool managers. He was also in teen council. He grew up at the rec. So he feels like he's come full circle, and it's really excited. He started on Monday. So right now we have Steve and him working in our parks this summer, and that's it. So if you guys know of anybody, they have to be 18. Normally it's a 40-hour-a-week job. We'll take anybody now. So it does not have to be a full-time job if you guys know of anybody. Also now looking for more lifeguards because of the new protocols in place, and a few more camp staff. So if you guys know of anybody, send them our way. The tennis courts, finally, they're being done starting June 1st, scheduled to be finished June 11th. So the courts here at the Gillum Recreation Center and over at 11 in Huntington will be closed. They're going to power wash first and set it all up to get it ready to do the resurfacing. So we're really excited about this. And it comes at a good time because our classes haven't started yet, our tennis classes, and the swim team meets haven't started yet either. So they all meet on the tennis court. So we will be done before any of that happens. So this is really exciting. So hopefully that will go well. And I know it's kind of weather dependent, so keep your fingers crossed for some good weather for the next few weeks so we can get through this project. So if anybody asks, yeah, that's what's going to be going on. We are sending out an e-blast to the community and putting signs up at both facilities to let people know that they will be shut down from the 1st to the 11th. Susie, did you have a question?
Susie?
The pickleball courts, The rec center's not open yet, is it? So
No.
those pickleball players can't come and play in the rec center while they're working on the court.
No, unfortunately, we're not open
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
I know I'm going to be asked that.
Right. Yes, I appreciate that. But yeah, unfortunately, we won't be set up for that yet.
Okay.
So just to confirm, it's both tennis courts, even the ones on Huntington and 11?
Yep. Both places. They're going to shut them down and do them both at the same time. So which is actually better because they can get it done in a shorter period of time than having one shut down. So the Scotia Park planning project has been pushed back again. The nursery is having trouble getting in the trees that are needed. Obviously COVID has put a wrench into that plan. So I'm working closely with Jeff Klein, and he's going to let me know hopefully next week when he's able to schedule that. So we're hoping that will be done soon as well. I mentioned we hired our full-time parks assistant, Brian Voigt. This May, we've been having some activities to celebrate Older Americans Month. And so we had a very successful variety show here outside of the rec center. There was a meet and greet with city officials. And then this Thursday, which originally it was scheduled for tomorrow, but the weather's supposed to be bad, we have an artistic salon that actually is being run through the library, but it's here in our parking lot. And so it's been a crazy fun month and the activities have been outstanding. So Lenny Newman and the Senior Advisory Committee have done a great job getting everything together. It's been amazing. So that's been a lot of fun. And I'm sure everybody knows Miss Colette is retiring. So yeah, have you heard of her, Jeff? Her name's Colette Newton. She is retiring. We are going to be going into the interview process in probably a couple weeks. Frank, I'll get with you with some dates to see if you're still able to be on that interview panel. Sure. And I'll get you the applications and all of that too. I'll get that together.
Thank you.
And then if anybody's interested, we're going to be celebrating Colette at her last concert in the park on July 27th at 8:30 p.m. We're calling it Colette's Closing Act because it's part of her favorite concerts in the park. And if anybody has a picture that they want to send me that either she took or Jeff maybe took that Colette's in, or something with your family, or you guys at an event that she ran, she's our picture girl. And so we're putting together a book, and it's no secret to her because you can't keep a secret from Colette. She finds out. So she knows, but if you have a picture, Bridget Levine is actually—
I already submitted mine.
Good, thank you, Alexa. So anyway, if you have pictures, send them our way, definitely. And that is all I have for department updates.
All right, thank you so much, Tracy. All right, public participation. Anything that hasn't been discussed already for any of the agenda items today?
Hi.
Hi, yes, I can barely see.
Hi, this is Allie Moscow. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Do I have to give my address and all that stuff, or is it not as formal as some of the other meetings?
It would be great if you did, then we can update the minutes accordingly, yeah.
No problem. I'm at 8376 Huntington Road. It sounds like you guys have been really busy. I had one question and one comment and one idea. The question was just clarity as far as whether the plan is for crew campers to continue wearing masks. So that was the one I just wanted to get clarification on. The comment is we recently discovered, now that we're doing T-ball and we're in that far corner of the Burton field, that there's an opening between like where the pool is and the fence that the kids can go through, and anyone could come through, and it just seems like a safety hazard. So I just wanted to—
Well, I'm sorry, Allie, can you just explain where that is again? There is—
So over by the baseball field, there's the wall where the pool's on, and then there's the fence where, you know, the homes along, is that LaSalle or Talbot? I think it's Talbot.
I think it's Talbot.
And like right at that corner, there's an opening. And like the kids were going back through there, and just as a parent, maybe nervous because if the kids can go through there, people can come through the other way. It just seemed like a safety thing worth investigating. So I just wanted to bring that one up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I knew about the opening over by the fence where there's a gate, and that's one thing, but this one's like, it's really discreet. It just seemed a little bit skeezy potentially.
It's like where two existing structures is never quite met, right? That's sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So just something to check out. And then just an idea. And like I said, I know you guys are really busy and have a lot on your plate, but it's been really hot. And I've been doing, lunchtime out in front of the rec center with my kids and, pick up and all that. And I was just thinking, if we're looking for yet another project, it'd be really cool if we could put a splash pad in that area right in front of where the gym doors open and like have like a little splash pad spot.
I'm writing it down. If you see me looking down, I'm writing it down.
Yeah, I was just thinking, especially with everything having been closed so much this year and, few opportunities to do things, just seemed like, people are waiting to get to the pool. People are doing a music concert series. The kids can be splashing around. I don't know, just an idea.
Gotcha, thank you. Just can I say one thing just about the masks for camp? Thanks. At the parent meeting next week, Jenny's going to go over all of the protocols. We're actually still working through a few of them.
Okay.
Just to make sure we're covering all our bases. So we will have all that information at the parent meeting and we can get that out to everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you. And do you know about Berkeley Parks and Rec opening up their splash pad?
I do.
Okay, good.
Exciting, yeah.
Sure. Just something else for the kids, Ellie. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it looks really cool. Okay, yeah, thank you. And thank you for all that you've been doing. You guys have been busy and doing a lot of great stuff. So
thank you, Ellie.
Thanks. Anyone else? All right. Well, it looks like we wrapped up our agenda this evening. So we are going to be meeting in June at this point. Is that correct?
Does that work for everybody? It's June. Hold on.
I noticed it's still on this. It's on the city calendar.
June 29th is what I have on the list. So yeah, that'll be the next meeting. Okay.
And when will we see the rules and regs emailed out? The next day or two?
I'm hoping tomorrow. Yeah, I'm hoping I can get those out tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Someone said my name, and I was looking at the screen.
Did I miss board member comments?
Oh, I'm so sorry. You did. I missed board member comments.
That's okay. It's only because I have one this time.
Yeah. I guess I was technically doing plan of action for next meeting still a little bit, but yeah, let's roll into that.
Just a quick one, Tracy, about the basketball hoops, the nets.
Yes.
What's the deal?
The hoops are up. What are you talking about? The ones at Burton?
Yeah. People are asking.
Yeah, the nets are up.
Okay. Yeah. And it won't happen again unless, knock on wood, it was a COVID thing. And it was
a COVID thing. And I know some people didn't understand because we had the tennis nets up and, pickleball was going on, but those were all okayed for COVID times, but basketball was not. So we didn't put the nets up right away. They did just go up though. So
yeah,
I should be all set with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to get the scoop from you directly. That's kind of what I explained, but I said I would verify.
Yeah. So I did have 2 calls on it, and I know the person still commented on one of the social media places even after I talked to them. So yeah, I did say it was just related to COVID, but they're up now.
Yeah, and logically you can't separate people playing basketball like you can people playing tennis. So
right.
Yeah. So
right. I noticed the thread on Nextdoor as well, and I noticed that Evan kind of pointed to that, and I think he and his family have been strongly associated with that issue for many years now, many years before I was in Huntington Woods. Okay. So it wasn't surprising to see that erupt. And then a lot of people immediately made some strong assumptions over why that was, and it's good to know that it's just related to the COVID.
Just COVID.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
All right. Any other comments? All right. I think we can adjourn.
Okay.
And we'll see everyone next month.
And I'll send out information, guys. So look for emails.
Thanks, Tracy. And I'll look forward to seeing your communication regarding the interview process as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Tracy.
Bye.
Sorry for my technical foibles tonight, dropping in and out. I'm having some connectivity issues here. So
that's all right. It's all good.
What do you do?
It's all good.
All right.
Thanks, Frank.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.